Sir Harish, sir, can we check it once?
Yes, we can once quickly share
Beta.
So just share your
the
screen.
status.
Good afternoon.
Pankaj, just a quick update.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Saha has urgently been called for a meeting, so I'll just start once you. So he will be there towards the end of the program.
Sure, sir. Sure. Not an issue.
Thank you. And we are also going to go live on YouTube. So just give us 1 or 2 10 seconds to go live. So hint us when you want to start. We can go live then also.
Sure, sir. Sure. Hari, sir, we can see your presentation slides changing. Yes, sir, you are mute. Let me unmute yourself.
So
Yeah, now you are unmute, sir.
I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Helen, sir.
So I hope Ravi sir is here already.
Yes, sir. Ravi, sir is there. Rupa madam is there.
Okay, fine. So at 1:30, then possibly RP Singh sir and
Just a moment, sir. Just a moment. Let me confirm with Helen, sir, and then we will start, sir. Just in 2 minutes, we'll be starting this.
okay.
Afternoon, myself, Dr. I'm Assistant Innovation Director from Ministry of Education Innovation Cell. On behalf of
Helen, sir, your voice is low. It seems your voice is low. Sir, your voice is not coming. Now you try. Yes, sir. Now it's good, sir. It's good to go.
Okay, fine. Good afternoon. I welcome you all on behalf of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell, CBSE, and AICT for this orientation session for school principals on design thinking and innovation. Now I request Joint Secretary, CBSE, Sri RP Singh sir, to formal welcome us to the participants.
Namaskar and a very warm good afternoon to everyone. Pankaj, is my voice okay?
Yes, it is okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's perfect.
A very warm good afternoon to all the participants. I can see a lot of people who have joined here and also on YouTube. I welcome on behalf of CBSE all the participants. Dr. Biswajit Saha, Director Skill Education. Professor Ravi Puvaiya, who is Professor IDC at IIT Bombay. Mrs. Rupa Chakravarti, Director at Sun City World School, Gurgaon. Dear friend Shri Harish Sanuja ji, who is Academic Director from Birla Public School, Doha. Dear friends, this session has been organized as a precursor and for sharing the information about the design thinking and innovation curriculum that has been developed by CBSE with support, collaboration, guidance, motivation, and all the possible support from Shri Ravi Puvaiya ji, IDC, and from IIT Bombay, and also from the other team members who you will be hearing and meeting throughout the day in the online session. This is a very interesting curriculum, and the study modules have been developed in a very interesting manner. We did one online program recently in a leading school in Delhi, Mayur Vihar, and the response was very exciting from the participants. The vision with which they came and the vision with which they left, there were two stark differences when it comes to design thinking. Because design thinking, if you are coming with that preconceived mindset, and you will think that it's a term which is more related to products, it's a term which is more related to engineering, more related to science. But when you go through the content, you will find out that it's a term that. Hello? You will be very much surprised when you go through the content. Today, the session has been arranged for a very short duration, but it is aimed at providing you the awareness and the orientation about the whole content, so that when you are coming for the physical meeting that we have with you to discuss about the assessments and the various other things, you are more aware of what the whole content is about. So please take part in the whole session. Try to go through the study material, the teacher's manual that is already uploaded on the website after the program, so that when you are called for the physical interaction, you are all aware what is to be done and how it is to be done. We will help you in all the possible aspects. We'll mentor you, handhold you in implementing this novel curriculum from classes 6 to 8. One thing I can tell you that this curriculum is to be done through hobby clubs. This is something which is not mandatory for all the students to take up. It is going to be taken up by the students who are interested to take it up, but it can be continued from class 6 to 8. We are very shortly going to launch the study material for classes 9th and 11th also. So in the couple of coming years, you will find that design thinking and innovation is a well-structured curriculum from class 6 to class 12. For this, we will be counting on the support of the school innovation ambassadors who have undergone the school innovation ambassador training program that we did in collaboration with AICT. So once they've set up, been recognized as a school innovation ambassadors, and they have set up the school innovation councils, they will be called upon, they will be looked up to implement this curriculum in the school. Also, if you've not undergone that training, you can still undergo that training. And both the trainings, the School Innovation Ambassador Program and the Design Thinking and Innovation, are separate from each other. So in case you have not gone through the SIATP training, it's okay. If you go through this training, then also you can teach design thinking. But it will be beneficial if you go through that training also. So I'll not take much of the time. I'll hand over back to Dr. Alan Govan, and to take the proceedings forward so that you are exposed to the curriculum, exposed to the student's manual, and all the content that has been developed and very interestingly and very beautifully compiled in the form of a student's handbook, teacher's handbook, and FAQs.
Thank you.
Back to you, Ellen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, RP Singh, sir, for your time and briefing a participant about the Design Thinking and Innovation Program. Thank you, sir. And thanks for all your continuous support for implementation of this program. Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Ravi Puvaiya, sir, Professor, IDC, IIT Bombay, to give an overview of design thinking and innovation curriculum. Professor, the platform is open to you to address the participants.
Thanks, Dr. Ellen. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, and I'm very honored and privileged to be speaking to so many teachers here. Big thanks to Ministry of Education, CBSE, Innovation Cell, AICT, and all the members of the committee for putting the curriculum together. I'm really grateful and actually quite thrilled that we're going to present this program to you. Having said that, design is learned typically by doing, by building things, okay, by making things. It's a hands-on discipline. You explore, experiment, make mistakes, and typically solve problems. And sometimes you solve also what we call as the wicked problems. Behind all this is a very major contribution from design. It's the process on how you actually do design. Okay, and it's the thinking behind the design process. And now it's popularly called as design thinking. The advantage of design thinking is that design thinking, very much leads to innovation. So innovation and design thinking are kind of go hand in hand with each other. And the most interesting part of this is that you can apply this to almost any field, be it medicine, engineering, humanities, even learning of languages, any of them, okay? And it can be applied to make your learning process much more nicer. With that introduction, I shall share my screen. Just a minute.
It's visible, sir. You can make it full screen, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can see, right?
Yes, right, sir. We can go ahead, sir.
Is it changing?
Yes, sir. It's changing, sir.
Okay, thanks so much. So it all started with a report for design and innovation in schools, something which we were thinking of. And very fortunately, the NEP 2020 came into being. So that became the backbone. And that's when, about a year back, a national committee was formed and the curriculum was actually formulated. Okay, so I'm very briefly giving you a very outer look of the, overview of the curriculum. If you see in the center, it's to do with design thinking and innovation. The big difference is that the whole curriculum is learned through by doing tasks. Okay, so we have something called as a task book. Within each task, you expose them to a certain area or a field through examples. And the students will learn certain tools for actually solving this problem. And in the process, you learn a process, how the steps in solving a problem. And that's part of the design thinking. How we are doing it is that the content creation, which is on the left side, is being done by experts. But at the same time, we have teachers who are giving us feedback on whether it's correct or wrong, and we are re-correcting them. We're also going to have students' feedback, which is in the process, and their feedbacks also feeds into the content creation. On the right side is how actually teachers would actually take up this as a theme and do it. So there's a teacher's learning, which is being, at the back of it is the teacher's manual. Okay, so that is also going to be presented today. And if you look at the bottom, design has a very nice thing because it's a visible output that you have. You can actually end up with an exhibition at the end of the class or end of the semester or end of the year. And students, because they have something visual, they can actually build portfolios for themselves. And how is it done? It's done through Taskbook, which is going to be online. It has an online access. If you want, you can print them. Otherwise, it's available as PDFs, and you can access it in all formats. This is the rough overview of the curriculum. And if you look at the whole design thinking itself, it has these 5 major steps: observation, understanding the area. Then once you know that, you ideate, and then you build and do it and make prototypes, and then there's a time for reflection. So this is basically the design thinking and innovation curriculum, and you have different ways that we have done it. These are the different books that we have produced. One is there's an introduction and FAQs. There are also the slide exposures which the teachers can make use of. There's a task book along with assessment, and there's a teacher's manual, and it follows with the modules. So this is the design thinking process, and what we've done is that we made it simple and easy for children to follow this, especially in the schools. So the first stage, we call it as observation stage, understanding stage, ideation stage, building stage, and reflecting stage. And you can go into details of each one of them, which you anyway do it in the classrooms. Now, design and innovation, the way it is learned is slightly different than the way typical subjects are learned, because it involves a lot of hands-on. So one is that it's very experiential. You do it and learn. Also, it can be very playful, joyful. So design classes are always fun to be part of. And what happens is that because you make the students get involved in the problem solving, it's kind of emotional and they actually look forward to finding a solution. You can also have this thing of, students getting together, collaborating, cooperating when solving problems. So the class actually becomes something we call as a studios, which makes this happen. It's not one teacher and students listening to it. Instead of that, the teacher actually becomes a facilitator. He is a mentor who holds the children in trying to find a solution. So that's a big difference. So the exposure is not through textbooks. There's no textbook here. It's through a task book which defines it, and a teacher's manual which kind of defines how to actually, give it to the children. And it's to do with local contextual problems. You explore, experiment, and learn. And instead of hourly classes, we want to combine it into slightly longer periods. Okay, so if you look at how we've come out with lesson plans, you have an overview vision for each of them. We've picked up competencies, thought of learning objectives and aims, and they're made into modules and submodules, which are through exposures and tasks and references. There's an assessment criteria through which you assess this, which also there's a teacher's manual, which becomes a handbook for teachers. And this can result in exhibitions or portfolios. And also we are thinking of having an online documentation so that it becomes very useful for the next year and the next task. Okay, so this again, I'm running through it. We start with local problems and then go outwards. That means from local to global. Okay, you start with the self and then look at society, public, community, and humanity. So in the initial periods, it's about problems around your surroundings itself. Then you go outside. We also want to focus on life instead of humans. If you remember, the last 200 or 300 years has focused on humans at the cost of other beings. So it has to be life-centered, and we have to bring in principles of sustainability into our thinking and the design process. And ultimately, this actually helps students to be creative, and it can be part of the creative industries at the end of it. We've also, roughly, if you look at it, this is the overview of the curriculum. Okay, it's from class 6 to class 12, follows the NEP 22 objectives. There's an overview vision, which is to do with exploring sensories, cognitive abilities, social abilities, discovery, experience, and reflection, creating awareness, curiosity, and exploration. Okay, identify problems and be able to solve it, apply design thinking process and methods, and also you learn the basic fundamentals of design. Competencies will be observation skills, improve their communication skills, become more sensitive to design. They'll be able to identify problems in their surroundings, analyze it, maybe come out with solutions. They'll become creative people. They create, try out many options, and also be able to build and prototype these. We also mapped in some of the SDG goals so that we are not out. So this is a brief overview of from class 6 to class 10. If you look at it, the first, states class 6, 7, 8 is an exposure module. The children kind of discover what is design thinking and innovation. Then comes to a little bit of building the skills and sensitivity, then creativity and problem solving in the 10th standard, then looking at design options and problem solving also together, forming an organization or an enterprise. And the last year is applying what they've learned, and it's an execution phase. So if you look at the overview of the 6, 7, 8 classes, okay, you have the first one is you explore design fundamentals, and there's a task in story creation. They actually create a puppet out there. Then the next one is form transition. So let's say letter A to letter Z. And through documentation, they actually look at forms in nature and in their surroundings. The third one is about idea sketching, so that you can generate many ideas, and it's about products. So you actually build a sundial, portable sundial. That's the exercise they do. And then they do a design process exercise where they actually take up problems, in the school environment, ideate, understand and come out with creative solutions and make a presentation to the school itself. Okay, so this is how it goes. So if you go to the next levels, right, it becomes 18-hour modules, but then we have about 160 hours, 80 hours in one semester and 80 hours in the next semester. So we touch upon, subjects like, fundamentals of how you can document things around, fundamentals of 2D design, so they become very, very interested in graphics, then observation, going on to documentation project. In the next one, sketching for ideation, fundamentals of 3D design, how to solve problems and analyze it, and an analysis problem of designing products. 10th standard, they get into fundamentals of moving images, story creation, uh, methods of creativity, and solve a creative problem. Then fundamentals of communication. So communication is the 21st century skill that they need to get. Also emphasis on sustainability and design, building prototypes, and a design thinking, process project at the end of it. 11th standard, it becomes more discipline oriented. So they get into publication design, moving images, information design. They do a startup project at the end of first semester, fundamentals of product design, interface or digital design, even game and toy design. These are all very fun exercises to do. The students would, in all probability, really love to do in many of this, and again, end up with an enterprise project. 12th standard is more about applying their knowledge into many of these fields. So they do something which is in the personal domain, something which is in the social domain, something which is in the public domain. They also do a project based on Indian knowledge systems. And the last semester is dedicated to doing one major capstone project. They can choose their own problem and solve it. Okay. So we identified many areas. So for example, projects itself, it's to do with the school, their marketplaces, waste generated, public concerns. You can, if you have a glance of it, it's to do with sustainability. It's all trying to solve problems around your surroundings itself. Okay, so this is a peek into the grading system. We wanted the grading to be very friendly to the children. No pass and fail, grades. Even somebody has attempted, he gets a beginning. It's always a grade which is encouraging. More of this, will be said by Harish. Okay, and how we've come out with the rubrics to actually assess the grades. Okay, and we asked a lot of questions. Okay, these questions were to do with how do we administer something like design thinking and innovation in the school. So one of the things we said that there'll be only task books and no textbooks. So there is no memory involved in this. This is actually doing and experiencing and learning it, and it's through problem solving. We also need a slightly larger number of hours to in terms of engagement. Ideally, it would be 3 hours, but even if we can get a combined 3 40-minute sessions into 2 hours, it's a very nice period. We also taken a ratio of 2:1 for work in the classroom versus work at home. Okay. And the structure is based on learning objectives, activities, and evaluation criteria. We also made sure that, in the initial period, there is no need for any computers in the whole thing. If you have it, it's good, but you can do the whole, from 6 to 12 standard without using computers also. Yeah, so that doesn't become a constraint in administering, design thinking and innovation. Okay, so the task has to be made very, very interesting. Okay, so that's a big challenge for us. And we've decided also that we can change the task year and year on. So it's not something which is written in stone. We'll try to change it every year. So there is a new challenge. And assessment is based throughout the semester, and it's not based on a final examination. So these are quite a major changes. Okay. We also have to ask these bigger questions. Can we make it suited for disinterested teachers, as well as not be at the mercy of coaching classes? Okay, so you can support the DT curriculum development by being part of the review team. Now we're going to administer it. So you'll give us feedback on this, and the content can be redeveloped to some of your feedback. You, of course, will try out the task and project with students and give us feedback on improvement. And please, we also would like you to be an ambassador to take up design thinking as a subject learning in schools, because here we need you to also convince the parents that it is a viable subject. And with this, that yeah, we have to thank all the members who are part of this program. And with this, fortunately, what is happening, even if you take design as a field further on, there is a big focus on design in our country. We right now we have about 200 schools at the graduate level which are offering design. So there are roughly around 25,000 to 30,000 students getting admission every year in these schools, and this 200 number is expected to go up to 1,000 in about 5 years. So it will pave the way for almost around 100,000 students to specifically be part of the design as a profession and be part of the creative industry. So this is my first part. I'll just take just 1 minute to of the task book. Okay, so this is a rough, I'm showing an A4 size, this one. So this is how it looks. This is only for the class 6. If you look at it, class 6 has 4 modules: elements of design and story creation, exploring form transition, discovery forms in the environment, sketching and creative exploration of it, and introduction to the design thinking process. So if you look at it here, this I showed you. So if you look at the blue blobs on the right side, so you create a story out of creating puppets. Okay, so that's the first module. Second module is you have form transitions. The third module is idea sketching, and you come out with a portable sundial. Fourth is identify problems around your school environment and that. So in the introduction, we've actually asked these questions: what is design, which you'll also find in the FAQs and the introduction book. Who is a designer? What is design thinking? And who is a design thinker? What is the design thinking process? The diagram that I showed you is given here. We also compared it with what is innovation and what are the overview visions of design thinking and innovation curriculum. So this kind of forms a introduction to the course. These are the modules. We have the overall vision for the grade 6, 7, 8 also specified here: learning objectives, additional competencies, matching of the SDG goals within this. Okay, and the assessment criteria and the matrix. Okay, we also have put in feedback forms both for the students and teachers to give feedback after every module. Okay, references are provided, and as I mentioned, the work the students do can easily go as an exhibition or a presentation. We are also making an online portal where students can upload their works with, of course, the teachers' permissions. Okay, this is how, for example, I'll just show you one of them. Introduction to Elements of Story Creation. This is the title page, which kind of defines what it is and final output. What is the task at school? What is the task at home? More details here. Introduction to Elements of Design. So we introduce the topic here. Okay, and what is the aim of the model? Why are you doing this? It's also explained. Okay, where it is has to happen. So the task A is in school, task B is at home. Okay, how many number of, what are the equipments which are needed? What is the grouping which is needed? These are the exposures. So we will be providing you with, slides for each of these topics. The teachers are free to modify them and do that, but the basic ones are there for your perusal. Okay, and what exactly of the design thinking process is involved in solving this problem and the SDG goals also. Then it goes on to creating imaginary puppet character using basic shapes. So it defines this. Okay, and then it says that at the end of the thing, think of a story for your character along with other characters from your group, write it down, and you have to enact it along with your group. Okay, so it's a short exercise, but the students would do it. Uh, an exercise at home, an imaginary character or the world in your palm. So these are two things. You trace your hand and you have to write what is your vision of the world, in the future. So at the end of it, there are questions which are asked. Okay, could the puppet character be done using sustainable materials? Could your story have a social relevance? Can the puppets be used for creating multiple stories? So it makes them think about it. Can all the puppets with the characters be displayed as an exhibition? There has a self-assessment also for the students. It's nice them doing it and then getting the grade by the teacher. So that is also there, and the suggested references. Similarly, it goes. Okay, for the second chapter, for the third chapter, okay, for the fourth chapter. So we have all these very nicely defined. And at the end of it, you'll find also the assessment criteria for the module 1, module 2, which Harish will tell you in detail, followed also by the feedback form. Okay, one for the students, okay, and one for the teachers, teachers, student. Okay. So that's roughly, what I have as a presentation. Okay, so Harish, who will speak on the assessment matrix and further give you inputs on design thinking and innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi sir. Uh, I hope I am audible and
Yes, sir. You're
thank you.
audible.
So I'll quickly slide which I wanted to. I hope people are able to see
Yes.
my
Yes,
slides.
sir. It's visible, sir. You can proceed,
It's
sir. It's visible.
So uh, I just wanted to tell all the principals and teachers who are here, uh, thank you for sparing your time. And at the same time, I would like to tell you one very crucial thing. Whenever there is a session or an orientation, or when we go for forums and all, the one thing that generally happens is that we talk about 21st century skills. We talk about collaboration, we talk about creativity, we talk about problem solving and all those things. And finally, what happens is that when we come back to the school, in the school, we have again the old subjects that we have, and the children are again assessed on the same formats. So, what happens is that the 21st century skills that we are trying to judge the children uh, gets again kind of pushed to the subjects in the orthodox manner in which we are doing. And therefore, what happens is that the world, the speed with which it is changing, and the speed with which we need to change the students' mindset about creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, communication, what happens is that that change is not as fast as we are kind of envisaging. So, in order to kind of do all that, I think design thinking and innovation is one of the most prime thing which comes for our rescue. and it can be utilized in the schools starting from 6, 7, and 8, where there is an 18-hour program, which can be kind of as an initial program which can be set out for the children. And the whole idea is to push the children so that their minds start looking for solutions. So we are wanting children to push themselves to start looking for solutions. Now, in this, what we do is we also have self-assessment formats for the children. Right now, Ravi sir had shared with you overview of the assessment criteria. So any problem that we give to the children in design thinking has to have two types of assessment. One assessment is self-assessment, assess yourself. So the student is going to be very well aware of what is going to be the self-assessment criteria. So what you see right now on the screen is the self-assessment criteria of a puppet making, so, and a story creation that Ravi sir was talking about. So the child is completely free to talk about the entire process in which he or she constructed a puppet or constructed a story around it and all those things. And then finally, the child is also asked to assess himself or herself on this entire assessment criteria which is there. So in CCE also, if you remember, we used to kind of harp about formative assessment. This is one of the very important parts of formative assessment. So what we do is we initially want the children to be aware of the self-assessment. So what I right now would like to share with you is another slide in which there is a sample exercise which was done with the teachers on design thinking and innovation, and there was a workshop which was conducted a few days back. In that, we had shared with teachers this particular question of make a toy that can be used to learn and teach a concept, giving its user a richer experience of the concept, and it should also be demonstratable. So this was the task that was provided to the teachers. Now this is a very similar task that is being provided to the students also in higher grades. So we just replicated that for teachers, and when we gave them the instructions, we gave them these following instructions which are there on the screen. That the toy designer that they have to do is it should use the material which are handy, and they were given out to the teachers. They then at the same time the learning and the teaching concept that they were trying to come out with through that toy should be very specific that they wanted to, and the toy should also make a user experience. That is, the user should be able to connect with the concept that the toy is trying to teach, that the teachers were trying to highlight. And then, of course, last was that the demonstration of the toy, that was more of a group assessment and all. So using this question, the assessment criteria, how it was finally displayed and executed was like that. This what is on your screen. Obviously we had a grade point of 1 to 10, and we were very proactive and we were very positive in our assessment. We did not want to say anyone is below average or so. So everyone was starting from the beginning or above beginning and developing and above developing. And then they were also given out this particular rubric to assess one themselves, and of course the teacher or the people who were the trainers there were also assessing them. So this was the grade. So because we had three major criterias, that is the toy as a learning concept, and then what was the experience of the toy, and how the demonstration of the toy was. So if there was a beginner, he would get 1 or 2 marks in the first criteria if the learning objective of the concept was not met very clearly. Similarly, if the learning objective was met to certain extent, then anything between 3 and 4. And if it was met to a certain moderate extent, then a person was given a scale of 5 to 6. And if it was to a fair extent, then 7 to 8. And if it was completely met, then the scale was going up to 9 and 10. Similarly, on the other criteria also, similar kind of scale was given. Now, then there was some thought which was given to this, that how would people analyze what was moderate, what was fair, and what was complete. So for that, there was one more help that was provided to the teachers, and that was that they had to see that the design, whether it was innovative or not. Was the design very basic, or was it very simple, or was it very complex, or did it require very high skilled people to make it? So that was about the innovation in the design. Then making the material that was provided, was the whole thing made using that material, or was the material to be sourced from a highly technical thing from outside? Similarly, whether the material used was easily available or not. And then the whole criteria was that the scientific and the technical objective that was defined through the question, whether that was met or not. So all these criterias were a help. And similarly, the business objective, like demonstration. When you do a demonstration of the project that you have done, or a toy that you have made, where you're trying to link a concept with the experience of the toy, then this is more of a business objective. Now, that is the most important objective, and whether that was clear or not. So all those aspects are also. So this is more like a cheat sheet, that these are more detailed understanding of what we are expecting out of the teacher and the student when they are executing this thing. So in this whole process of execution, we realized that some teachers were able to give us a very good output. Like I'm just showing you a sample of because we had provided very basic, simple cardboard sheets, pins, paper, pen, uh, glue sticks and all. So people, and some buttons and all. So people were able to make things like this, that there was a team which made a quadrant, a Cartesian quadrant for location, and how different places can be identified if you are trying to teach small children about graphs and all. Similarly, one team came up with making a anglic surface depicting about the food chain and the trophic levels and the flow of energy and how the energy is lost in each of the chain. And this entire pyramid that they made was actually a revolving pyramid. It was on a pencil which was held in the hand, which you can see on the screen right now. And then it could be rotated. And on all four sides of the pyramid, there were four different concepts which were kind of displayed. And the children could kind of then learn things from this particular rotating toy or a rotating pyramid that was made. Similarly, there was another team which came up with lot of other ideas, like they had a sassy skipper and a boomerang toy with which they could do the action and reaction, and they taught that concept. And this was assessed on the parameters that I showed you just now. So when the assessment was done on these parameters, we could see that teachers were very well equipped with this entire process once they were given a very clear-cut idea of what they have to get done. But in this whole process, we realized that it was done for 2 hours. And as we said, that for an 18-hour curriculum in grade 6, 7, and 8, 12 hours are in school and 6 hours are at home. So we need to give proper instructions to the children with the problem questions. And then those problem questions need to be kind of executed and then assessed with the help of the rubrics that are already given in the booklets and the teacher's help book that we are proposing. And then once that happens, we can integrate the entire rubric with the report card that goes to the parents, so that in that we can tell the parent that your child was not only judged on the basis of marks that are being given on different subjects, the child can also be judged on the 21st century skills that we keep talking about, like the creativity, the problem solving, the collaboration, the communication, and the presentation skills. So all this comes as a part of the assessment. And this assessment gets integrated with the report card. We can have a one single sheet, A4 size, which can be the rubrics, which can be given along with the report card to the parent that this is what your child did in the design thinking. And this is going to go a big way in executing the design thinking and innovation process, and at the same time mapping up the skills of the children on these 21st century skills that we are talking about, so that we start mapping up those skills and that gets recorded somewhere, and finally it gets executed in the schools, and children also learn the entire process of design thinking in this whole process. And as a society we will also learn how to solve problems around us, which will be a big game changer for us as a country in due course. So that's what I can kind of tell you. Thank you. This is what I had to share about the assessment criterias. Though they are very, very clear, and they will be also a part of the booklet that we have, and we will be sharing the same with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time and briefing our participants about the assessment criteria, and with a few case studies which we have been experienced in the last workshop. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Now I request Director Sun City World School, Ms. Rupa Chakravarti ma'am, to address the participants on importance of design thinking and innovation. Ma'am, the platform is open to you now.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Is there some resonance?
Yes, ma'am.
Some echo is there, ma'am. If I think two devices are on.
Two devices are on, yes. Just
one, you can make it in a mute mode, ma'am.
Try now, madam. I think you will be able to.
Is this clear?
Yes, yes. This is clear, ma'am.
Thank you. So, may I request you to please share the presentation?
Sure, I'll do that.
So good afternoon to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and I see there are that many participants, and it's always such a pleasure to gather a large audience. There are audience out there on YouTube also. It has been a wonderful journey for all of us who have been part of this design thinking. Design thinking is a very formal word, and a word which we in India have one word for. Though it is not a very formal word, but a word which we often use, and the word is Jugadu. We are a country which uses this word very often. Whenever there is a problem, we come up with some solution for it, and we believe, and I think the whole committee believes, that there is a very, very definite thought process and a vision which Indian people have, which has not been formalized. All kind of put it all together in this book, and this is under the SIC, the Schools Innovation Cell, which is a congregation of all three. So congratulations to all who have thought of this. And the next slide, please. This is a questionnaire which was to be sent to you. If you've got it, it's fantastic. But if you've not got it, I want you to quickly think of what are the best practices you use for enhancing curiosity in your students in the school. If you could just write it in the chat box, what is it that you use to enhance curiosity? बच्चों को कैसे जिज्ञासु बनाए हम? जिज्ञासु, एक तो जुगाड़ू हो गया, अब मैं अगले शब्द पे आ गई हूं, जिज्ञासु. How do we brainstorming? Very good. Give them problems. Thank you, Namonita. Allow them to think. Tinkering, fantastic. Asking questions, more practical problems, case studies, puzzles. Wonderful. Open-ended questions relating it to real life. Wonderful. Professor Ravi Puvaya, Dr. Abhay Jere, and everybody else, I think we have achieved what we came here to achieve. Just look at that. Storytelling, new topics, simulations, fantastic. So what will help? Analytical processes or analytical thinking. Look for the hook. Oh, fantastic. That's a lovely one. I've heard that one the first time. Fantastic. Discovery. Look at how we are already thinking. So this is going to enhance our curiosity. Thank you. Critical and creative thinking. We will end over here because this is exactly what design thinking is about. It is about problem solving. I have 3 other questions, but due to paucity of time, we are just going to move on. Out of the box thinking, absolutely. So we will just go to the next slide. Now here, I wish to show you, can you see me? I want to show you a marker pen, okay? I want to show you a marker pen. Now this marker pen, if you can see it, how do you think you can use it besides being a marker pen? Or if you have a paper near you, I'm giving you exactly 1 minute. Can you make something out of that paper? You must be having a paper near you, or else this marker pen. You can also put it here. Can you see it's also got a little thing, a little clasp? So can you think of any other way this pen? Okay, fan, a ruler, very nice. Hanger, okay, very nice. A U pen, a boat, okay. A pen again, all right. Cup, color, of course. Paperweight, yes. Example of cuboid, very nice. A mic, a pen drive, a rocket roller, wonderful. Aircraft, pillow. I love the pillow one. Thank you very much. So I think everybody, I'm very impressed with the crowd which is here. And we are here to give you exactly this direction of thinking. And the next one, please. Is there a problem? Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the next one. All we are doing here, rocket with pen can be made, absolutely. We are trying to find solutions. We had heard that some of the colleges of India are not being ranked in the top 100 colleges of the world. And one of the main moot reasons for this was research. Next one, please. How to find a solution to a problem. So let us start with the problem solving first. This is design thinking, okay? What is the problem around? You are in a room. Can you just look around that room and see what is the problem in that room? What is the problem in that room? I'm looking around my room and seeing, okay. All right, there is a little bit of board coming out in my room. The ventilation is a problem. Okay, you've got the problem, Madam Meenakshi. Now think about how you can find cleaning the fan. Nice light. Okay, it's dark. So what can be a problem to this? Pollution, all right. What can be the solution? It's unorganized, okay. So what can be? Now we know the problems. Can you tell me what can be a solution? Suppose there is no storage. Somebody's written no storage. There is dust. That means somebody's not done their duty. So what can we do to rectify this? Next slide, please. So this is very, very important, okay? You have, what is the first thing you did? Just now, what did you do? You looked around and what did you do? All right, we've got the problems. Now we need to move on because there's a very famous saying in management that if you have a problem and no solution, you are the problem. So design thinking is going to correct that. So do something to de-stress. Okay, sir. So now let us look at the problem. Now, the logical reasoning, there are three major types of reasoning which exist, okay? Inductive, deductive, and abductive. This is just a little bit of pedantic learning that I put in over here, more bookish knowledge, because this is also for us to understand. What is inductive learning? Generalizing the existing idea. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, deductive is narrow down existing choices. Like, let's say you've got three problems. Somebody's got dust in the room and they can say that somebody did not clean my room, or they can pick up a cloth and go and clean the surface like they do in Japan. Children in Japan are made to go to class, first clean up their class and then sit in the class and study. Okay, so generalize existing ideas, narrow down existing choices, and then also you can have a deductive way of logical reasoning, that is combining the two. Create more space to generate more new ideas. Okay, next one. So this is an activity that what is the solution? Can somebody put solutions? And remember that if you don't have a solution to the problem that you have identified, then you are the problem. So understand the problem, brainstorm. Somebody had written earlier to brainstorm and discuss possible product or mobile apps that can help solve the problem. Take inspiration from existing products, and after that you can present. But understand the problem. Very right. You have to understand the problem. Very important. Next, please. Okay, let's say pollution. Somebody did write pollution. So what can we do? Teamwork, find alternatives, understand. These are common things. We have to give definite answers. So this is pollution and somebody did write pollution. What can we do? What can we do? So we write letters to our parents asking them to, and can you say what we ask them to do? Empathize with the problem. Definitely, Renu ma'am. Pool, very good. Yes, we tell them to pool. Very good in the Preet ma'am. What else do we must be asking them to do? Spreading awareness, yes. Public transport, yes. If you have your own buses, then you ask them to get onto the school buses, otherwise use public transport. Very nice, very nice. Solar energy vehicles, very good. Electric vehicles, very, very good. And you know that electric vehicles are going to become cheaper. Right, thank you very much. Due to curiosity, I love that. Okay, this video, will it play? If we can just show it. If it plays. Justified use of fuel, very nice. I'm not sure whether the video will play, but I'm hoping the video will play. Very nice, it's playing. I strongly believe in Shah Rukh Khan's कुछ भी हम शिद्दत से चाहते हैं वो चीज हमें मिल जाता है. Babita ma'am, we'll have to move now. I can see your raised hand. Yes. Does anybody remember where this happened? You can write it on the chat box. This is something that happened a year and a half back in 2021. Uttarakhand, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. It is Uttarakhand. The dam was being built and it got swept away. What is it that they could have done? Now, this is coming from the pollution. Why did I show this? This is coming from the pollution that we have created, due to which the glaciers, it broke away from the mountains and then it came sliding down. It was so huge. This particular one was not cloudburst. The one I'm showing is actually the glacier, which just swept away the dam in Uttarakhand, which was being built. And it was very, very sad to see that. Now, pollution leading to climate change leading to devastation, right? Look at this. So we must remember that what is it that we can do, beginning with awareness that you wrote. Absolutely, global awareness is what we require and part of design thinking. Let's move to the next one. So I will give you a simple example. We can solve that problem. We will solve this problem when you come for the 1 or 2 day, whole day seminar or workshop. Remember, in Gujarat, there was so much of milk which was there, and that was being given to a middleman, due to which the people who were generating the milk or they were collecting the milk from the farmers, they were not getting enough money. So they decided to make a cooperative. And guess what that cooperative was called? Anand Milk Union Limited, one of the most biggest companies, which is known as Amul today. So the first thing that we need to, thank you, Shruti ma'am. So the first thing we need to do is to think of an innovative way. Remember, I just talked about inductive. There's already a problem which is there. So what existing solution can we use? Then how we can put together solutions from other people through brainstorming. Of course, Mr. Varghese was the person who brought this forward. And then how we can combine them all to come up with a solution. And look what Amul is today. It is worldwide move. So somebody observed there was a problem, right? Lijjat Papad is another very good example. Thank you, Prerna ma'am. Lijjat Papad is a very good example. But since we are looking at Amul, they looked around and they empathized. Somebody empathized with the problem. So they observed what was the problem. And that was Dr. Kurian. You can see Dr. Kurian over there. Then he empathized with these people and decided to remove the middlemen. And then they defined the problem that was there. They sat down, they did brainstorming, they ideated, and a prototype was decided upon, right? And the prototype which was tested and they reflected on was Amul. And what a company it has turned out to be. Next, please. So see, from a small thought, the excessive milk, look where we have reached. So what is innovation? I'm sure everybody is reading it, but just quickly, I'll tell you, it's a new way of doing things because it solves a real need. And for this, you need tools and techniques and mindful problem solving. You need to identify and yes, work at the grassroots level, definitely, and identify and develop new growth opportunities, balancing of thinking and doing. You can't just think, मुझे इस pollution को सही करना है. That's not going to help because you have thought about it. You have to do it. So balancing that thinking and doing, and Amul is an excellent example of this. Tools and techniques and mindful problem solving they use there. They identified and developed new growth opportunities and they balance thinking and doing. Next, please. So this is what design thinking is about. Next one. And this Ravi sir just showed you that in our book, it is being put like this. Now, I want to show you, you may think that how do you do it in schools? I want to show you how we do it in our school, in Sun City School, which we are doing for the last 5 years. We call it VUCA design thinking. Does anybody know what is VUCA? If you could just write if you know what is VUCA. What is V for? Volatile. Excellent, Dipti ma'am. What is U for? U. U. Volatile is absolute uncertain. Very good, Dr. Josna. Next one, C. What is C? This is how we teach in the school. C. Complexity and ambiguity. Absolutely. I couldn't see the person's name who had written all four. I'm sorry, it moved very fast. So V is for volatility, U is for uncertainty, C is for complexity, and A is for ambiguity. Because of paucity of time, we are not going into it. And SDGs, you all know how many SDGs are there? Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you very much. Yes, there are 17. Thank you very much. Next, please. We'll just show you how we do the lesson planning in our school. Next, please. So this is the first page actually, and we shared this with parents. We tell them this is a science chapter that we have taken for class 7, and the parent handbook, we have a handbook for parents, and then which print book to look at, which we use, digital books that they can refer to, sites for reference, and we put the signatures of teachers also, so that parents know that this is an authentic signature. Especially, and I'm showing you 21, 22. I'm sorry, I need to update this to 22, 23. But because it was online, so they needed to know what is the signature like. And we have carried on with this even now in 22, 23. Next, please. And you can see how the units have been differentiated. We call it concept teaching. And in the first concept teaching, we have concept initiation, then concept elucidation, and concept closure. We won't go to it now, but when you come for the longer period of training, we will discuss. Next, please. So you can see the physics, how many days are there in April, and then you can see what is the topic and subtopic, the concept, the objectives, and what are the AIDS activities, etc., the MI and SDGs and learning outcomes. Now I'm going to show you that VUCA design thinking. Next, please. So the topic is heat and its effect. Next, please. Then types of thermometers, etc. Yes. Next, please. Now the VUCA one that the children did a VUCA design thinking on was that bad conductors of heat that you can see. They were shown, next please, next slide. They were shown that on the wire, dead birds are hanging or has got stuck, and how that radiation, the transfer of heat to that wire has killed the bird. Usually we don't see it. And they were asked to do a design thinking that instead of having wire above where it takes the life of a bird, since we should be mindful of this climate change, have climate action like it is in number 13 SDG. So next, please. So that was the video. You can see the VUCA video that was shown to the children. And then they had to talk about the energy crisis, saving the life of the birds and things like that. So I don't want to go into it anymore. And then, of course, the SDG they were focusing on was SDG 7, which is energy crisis, life on land with the bird that is there, and how to save the energy. They also wrote letters to their parents, telling them, giving them examples of how to save energy. Next, please. And balanced it with action. Right. And similarly, another VUCA video that was shown. Next, please. And these are the breakups. Next, please. So this is how you can integrate it into the thing. We will move on to the next one, which is the teacher's manual that I'm going to show you, and how this is to be aligned with what Professor Ravi Puvaiya, Sir Harish Sanduja has shown you in assessment, and how the teacher's manual manifests what all has been taught. Then you will see how we are doing three different things. Yes, please. This is how the reports come to me. Actually, this is the reporting that happens, the daily report compiled weekly basis, which was happening last year, and it carries on this year. Sir, we will move, because I think now we are running out of time. We'll move on to the next presentation. This is how it was sent to me every day. At the end of the day, it was compiled by the head of school, and then it was sent to me. Thank you. And we'll move on to the next one, where the teacher's manual has to be shown to everybody, because that's how you will do it. Now, as they are getting ready to show the teacher's manual, the first page is very similar to what Ravi sir showed you. You can just see this. Can you see it? This is the teacher's manual. So this is very similar. This I'm showing you the actual copy of the teacher's manual till they are getting the presentation on. So in this, as you can see, you will see that there is a lot of things, like let's say we are doing storytelling, okay? So in the storytelling, how do you go about doing the storytelling? As a teacher, what should you do? As a student, what should your students do? And how should you do the assessment of it? So three-pronged, it is again three-pronged, right? That the teacher, what will she do? She'll be... Yes, of course, we will give you a recording, definitely. So here is the design thinking and innovation, the teacher's manual. Next, please. So basic premise on which we have, this I would like to focus on. See, the teacher manual on design thinking and innovation is a continuation of CBSE's efforts to help create networks of good practices, right? The main thing you need to do is to practice and achieve progressive realization of transforming schools. We are very jugadu, very jugadu. Please don't underrate your ability. We can do lots of good things, and we are very jigyasu also. And in that, you can see think, learn, and innovate. It shares the conceptual framework to train the trainer and provide scaffolding to school leaders and teachers to apply ideas and principles of design thinking for problem solving, decision making, and innovation in their own practice. Please remember, design thinking is not meant only for one subject person. Anybody can do it because it's problem solving. Okay, so the basic premise is to provide actionable knowledge about the non-linear process of design thinking that is used to understand, challenge assumptions, redefine problems, and create innovative solutions to prototype and test. The 5 non-sequential steps are observation, empathize, analyze, that's define, ideate, prototype, and reflection, which is also the testing, can be used to tackle problems and issues in everyday life. Okay, so here is something which is creative and innovative. Yes, we'll just go down, and I'm going to show you something we've put in this book for your welfare. You must know what are the learning styles, beginning with the Gurukul system of learning, where it was about staying together, and the family of the guru became the family of the shishya. And that is the first thing to a good institution. When children feel like coming to school because they feel it's their home. Next, please. We'll just scroll down. And then we've given you about the Indian knowledge system. We've given you about the Western philosophies so that you know what is the background. Then we've given you about the theories of knowledge. It is a compilation of the theories of knowledge, a repertoire. Next, please. Next, we'll scroll down quickly. And these are all there in the teacher's handbook. What is multiple intelligences, Bloom's taxonomy, Kolb's cycle. You will get it all over there so that you have the right background to tackle. And you can see how much of work has gone into it. Yes, we'll continue. To you know, this is the Bloom's taxonomy. We'll continue. Sai Lakshmi ma'am, if you could just put yourself on mute, Sai Lakshmi ma'am. So these are small pictures we've shown. Yes, please. Next, we'll just scroll down. This is the WAG, the Honey and Mumford learning styles. We'll move down. Now, I want to show you. Next, please. Keep scrolling. So here we come. Can you see how we have put it over here? And very nicely, Professor Ravi Puvaiya and all of us decided to call it Weber. Observe. This is an acronym, Weber. Observe, understand, ideate, build, and reflect. See, in the first one, you empathize. You looked around your room and you observed and you found some problems, right? And you felt this needs to be corrected. Then you try to understand it. You define the problem. You try to analyze in your mind. Then you ideated, okay, what can I do? How can I create a solution to this? So you explored and you experimented. Then you started doing that thing. Either you built it or you did it, right? And that is a prototype you made or gave form or developed a new solution and did detailing. And then you came to the reflecting where you tested it. Does it work? Yes, it works. No, it doesn't work. So like that, you got a feedback and then the outreach, and we are going to give you a feedback form also to know how we can improve further. Yes, we'll scroll down further, sir. Yes, keep scrolling down, sir. Yeah, we've given you a glossary so that you know, and an overview of the thinking curriculum, which Harish Sanduja sir is very good at mind mapping, and he's given a very concise way that you understand how this is done. Next, please. Since we've all been a part of building these books, I am aware of what was happening. So here we want to show you what is design. Now look at the synopsis. And a synopsis has been given so that you understand what is the thinking behind it. Okay. After that, we have given you what are the subjects. Your slides are blurred. I don't think so, ma'am. You need to check once. Okay. All right. So in this, you can see we don't want you to just read it. Okay. We want you to also add more subjects. Let's say you want to do storytelling. Now, storytelling is not about English or art and craft or environmental sciences. I'm a student of biology also. So I can put in another subject, biology over here, and use it for storytelling. And how can I do? I can talk about the compositive flower. You know which is a compositive flower? The sunflower. There is a flower inside a flower in compositive flowers. And I can talk about how maybe a child gets stressed, okay? And do a story on how a child gets stressed with a compositive flower. And disc florist and ray florist. Thank you, Dr. Josna. So I can talk about so many other things. I can put in biology over there, you know, environmental science is already there. And of course, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and then do a storytelling. I can also take mathematics and fine arts because when you make a graph, it gets integrated. So like that, we can put it. And that is why we've left one empty thing. You can add your own subjects because if you are not thinking, you are not growing. And if you are not growing, your children are not growing. Next, please. I think I'm running out of time now. I'll quickly explain this to you. This is the mind map which was made and it is color coded. So when we teach Saregama to our children in our school, we also color code the Saregama. It makes little children learn very fast. Try it in your school. You'll find it as an excellent way of teaching. So Saregama, very nice. They love music, so they learn. But also put colors on the board with Saregama, and you'll see they learn. So I tried to, we tried to put it here in the color coding form. So when you look at the book, you will understand this, that how we are doing what is design and how we are explaining it to you. That is through designing stories, elements of design, designing stories again, designing puppets, created imaginary character, and definitely joyful learning. Next, please. And this is how it looks. Now just see, again, we've left to be filled by the teacher. We don't believe that we know everything. We believe you also, in your scenario, class scenario, in your area scenario, in the sense, if you're living up in the hills, in Uttarakhand, you will have different kind of learning outcomes. And even your objectives will be different because you'll have a different scenario, and the same can be applied. So we've left things even for teachers to do. And there is a podcast, listen to the teachers podcast here. So the podcast is also provided in this with this book. So it will be very good for you. The sample outline. Now, can you see there's 3 hours to be done in school and 1 hour to be done at home. So even that has been specified over here. It's very, very comprehensive, the whole thing. Here you can see how the slide in the exposure. Now there are 3 books altogether. This is the teacher's manual. Then there is a task book or skill book, which Professor Ravi Puvaiya showed you. And there is something called the exposure, which are the slides which are to be shown to the children. So there are 3 books over here. And the story can be built accordingly. And again, you will see how it all goes. I think here is a popular story of the 2 goats who fought over the bridge, and then they both fell into the water. So like this, I can also make this into a puppet. So if I put it in this way, in little crooked way, I can give it a character and say that this is a human being. Okay, this is a human being and who has got a pink color head, and give it a complete story line. So this is the way, use anything from around you to build up that imagination. And this is how it goes on. So we'll just move so that you understand, and we will show you. This is how it goes, and specific objectives, specific learning outcomes, everything. How the students need to blindfold and draw on a blank sheet. Lot of things you will learn. And then we come down to the assessment rubric, which is specific to storytelling. And also Mr. Harish Sanduja has told you about how assessment rubrics are being given to you. There is a generic one and there is a specific one. So this is the specific one that you are seeing. I think with this, we will just scroll down, and I want to tell you one last thing before I wind up. Just scroll down. You can see a lot of blanks because that's where you need to fill in, and a lot of things that have been put in for you to understand, to develop. This is how the handbook looks for the teachers. And there are podcasts in that, there are links in that which you can use, right? You can see it's a very interactive mode that we have used. And of course, the assessment rubrics with every module. There are just 4 modules for class 6, and you can see. So with that, I would like to thank all of you being so interactive, writing on the chat box and giving so many answers. Due to paucity of time, we could not go into more details, but the 2-day or 1-day workshop is what you should join, and we will all be there to master trainers. Thank you. Poli Mondal ma'am, if you could put yourself on mute. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Rupa ma'am, for your fantastic, loud and clear presentation. I'm sure the teachers would have enjoyed. You briefed them what is the importance of design thinking and innovation, and also demonstrating the manual to them. Now I request the Ravi Puvaiya sir and other members for listening the feedback from the teachers. So we request the teachers, any queries are there, we request you to raise those queries. You can raise your hand symbol. My colleague Mr. Pankaj Pandey will open, no, we allow you to speak, and our expert committee members will answer to your question.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Ellen. Also, thanks to Harish sir and Rupa ma'am. Wonderful presentations. Hope all of you have got a feel of what we are trying to do. So please ask any doubts, queries, explanations that you want. We'll be happy to answer you.
Miss
Sir,
Babita
I
Rani,
have
madam.
one query.
I'll pronounce the name. You just raise your hand. One by one, I'll pronounce your name and then you can ask the
Myself,
question.
Prerna Chauhan from Ganga International School, Savda. Sir, I have one query. I have tried to register my school on the school innovative site, but it is not happening and I am not able to register my school for the innovative council. Can you help me on this, sir?
What we'll do is, this for all the participants, any queries related to design thinking and innovation course alone, we can raise it here. Other questions we can take it in offline. We have a Telegram group and email.
Sir, it is related to the innovative design thinking and innovative course only. My teachers are not able to register themselves
Then
for
you
the
type your,
72 hours
yeah.
training program, sir.
Sure, we noted, ma'am. Please type your school name, your email ID, and mobile number.
I am
Personally
typing
to
in
us.
the chat box.
Yeah, you write this personally to us. There is a MOE innovation cell. We'll call you after this meeting. We'll call you on
Thank you
phone
so
and
much,
we'll
sir.
clarify
Thank you
it.
so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So, dear participants, I request you to ask a question. This is about a design thinking curriculum for 6th grade. So, I request you have any queries, please raise your hand symbol. My colleague Pankaj Pandey will allow you to speak and ask your question to the experts.
Miss Babita Rani, madam, please ask your question. Dr. Saroj Dabas.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm really thankful to all of you for a wonderful deliberation on this design thinking and innovation. So my query is we are introducing design thinking and innovation. This year it was only for class 8. So is it the same which CBSE has given us for class 8? Or there are some more changes we are going to have in this curriculum also?
See, right now it's being introduced for the class 6th. Okay, and I think very soon by next year we'll have all the modules in place. Class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay, either you can introduce them gradually, one by one. Okay, or you can try to, if you have enough people to, teach, then you can administer all of them at the same time. But the curriculum will be in place, in a couple of months.
Thank you, sir.
Also, we wanted to mention that we've also made it very simple that, the only thing which teachers need is enthusiasm and interest in creativity. Then they can teach this subject, Yeah, Pankaj, go ahead.
Next is Dr. Jyotsna Sharma.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, all. This is Beena Prakash from Campion School, Bhopal. I would like to know the criteria for being a master trainer for this. And secondly, will this literature be given to us through a mail, or do we need to purchase it from the market? Will it be available somewhere else for the whole literature that has been designed? And thank you for the wonderful session. It was really a wonderful session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. One is that, all the content material will be available online. So you can just download it. If you want to print it, you can print it. Okay, so you don't have to buy it. It's available for free. And as part of the AICT, we'll make a web space where everything is available, including all the, material for, for exposures, all the task books and the teacher's manual, it will be all downloadable. That's how we've thought of this program. And Harish sir, can you talk about the teacher trainers?
What we are planning to do is that we are going to host some of the workshops physically right now in some of the cities that we are finalizing. Very likely, they will be in the different corners of India. And once they are done, the people who will be attending them from there, we are likely to be shortlisting certain teacher trainers. And those teacher trainers are going to be the people who will be the flag bearers in this whole process, who can further train people. This will be done with the help of CBSE. The entire criteria and all those things will be kind of laid out by them, but it is expected that this will start happening from next week or so onwards. You will be kept posted by the CBSE circulars on that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Next is Dr. S. Jayasri Murlihar. Please ask your question.
Yes, sir. So just wanted to know what is the next step if at all we have to implement it at our school?
Ma'am, I think the next step is that one, we are going to give out these entire booklets and all. So once the training happens, you can utilize these booklets and initiate the whole process from grade 6 onwards.
So is it simultaneously or year on year we should add on the classes?
You can do it. I would advise that first get a trainer on board, someone who gets trained through the workshop or through the online training, because we are going to upload the online training modules also through AICT.
Okay.
So they will also be helping us in putting up those trainings for the teachers who need to get that done.
If we have to,
Once
sorry to interrupt, for the master training, what are we supposed to do, sir?
For the master trainers, we are likely to be coming to the 4 different cities around in India, and then there we will have one face-to-face training, and second is we are also likely to doing the master training with the help of online mode.
Online
So
mode.
that will also come up. But for that, you will have to wait for a week or two because we are almost in the finalization of the process. And once that is done, the books and the content is going to come to you in a soft form where you can kind of, the material we have already shown it to you. And we are quite upbeat about it because this is going to be a very good mode of assessing the 21st century skills that we want children to pick up. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
The other, which we've been discussing is to introduce it, not this year. This year do for 6th, but next year you can think of 6th, 7th, 9th, and 11th.
6, 7.
Yeah, and the year after that you can do it for all the classes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Next
sure.
is Avinash Kulkarni.
Good afternoon, sir. This is a nice presentation. Really wonderful to see you all, and listening to you is always wonderful for us. As it is a design thinking and innovation, I think the school innovative council is must for taking these courses in the school, or is it not? That is the first question. Second question: if the teachers who are part of the school innovation council are they going to have the training which is supposed to be given to the master trainer? Will it be in the MOOCs form or any online material which is available so that the teacher also can be trained and they can be the part of the journey?
I think Dr. Ellen mentioned in the beginning, they're actually not, I mean, they're connected, but they're independent with each other. I mean, you can introduce a design thinking and innovation course without being part of in the cell itself. Okay, but if you have both of them, they're advantageous because the activities are similar, right? So even if the person who's heading that can be part of the design thinking course, it will be advantageous to your school. Definitely yes. So the way the training program is going to happen is, you can't train everybody, physically. So some of them will do that. But of course, all the content material for training will make it available online, you know. So yeah, so you can do it through online also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right.
Next, Susma Negi ji.
A very good afternoon to all. Thank you for such a wonderful session. My query is, when we are talking about implementation of design thinking and innovation, in my school, I have already started this in classes 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we are following the same curriculum which has been given for class 6. We've downloaded the books and all, whatever material was given. We've already started with this, and we already started implementing it in class 6th, 7th, 8th. Just now, Ravi sir just said that we'll be coming out for the curriculum for classes 7th and 8th also within. What should we do? Should we first complete this, whatever is there in class 6 curriculum, and then go forward with class 7? Because what I have done is I have given it as an optional this thing for the children, whoever has been interested, because there were a number of other courses which was started along with this. So I have given those also, like, coding and all for class 8, it was started, and financial literacy was started. So these skill courses have started simultaneously along with AI, which was already we were offering. So the periods which I have given, the time which I have given, the course of class 6 is whatever is time specified here, all right,
Right,
by
8
you all.
months.
We
Yeah.
are giving much more time than that.
Okay.
Because something new, which is the children need to understand this. In fact, firstly, the teacher needs to understand what it is. We have already trained some of the teachers through that program of 72 hours. They've already undertaken. I have also undertaken that course. So I would like to understand one thing is, the 7th and 8th class curriculum, will it be released within 2-3 months so that we will plan accordingly?
Yes, definitely yes. But there's a commonality between 6th, 7th, and 8th. The content is almost the same. The tasks are different. Okay, so it's not a progressive it at 7 or 8. So you can introduce in all the three, but within a month, I think the 7th and 8th will also be available. So if you can wait for a month, then you can have the content for the 7th and then 8th also.
Because what I gained is we'll be starting in 9th also. Maybe next session
Next session,
will
yeah.
come out. So the children should be familiar when they
Sushma,
come to class 9. They should be familiar with what is design thinking. Basic crux they should be knowing about it.
Sushma
So
ma'am,
that is why we introduced it.
you will
Yeah.
get the
Thank you, sir.
details soon. You will get the
Thank
details.
you.
May I
Thank
now
you so much.
request
Sushma ji, if I can add here, if I could understand what you're trying to say is that you introduced in your school right from class 6 onwards. And if I can put it that way, all the students of class 6, class 7, class 8 right now are at a common place when it comes to design thinking. So for all the three classes, it's a new concept. So if you start with the same module in all the three classes, they will be covering it nonetheless. So we don't call it class 6, we call it module 1. So
Okay.
module 1, they can go on to module 2.
Perfectly fine. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, next is Deepthi Malhotra. Please ask a Malhotra. Please ask a question.
Thank you, sir. First of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to attend this session. Quite enlightening. And we also have design thinking. In fact, my question was similar to what Shushma ma'am has asked, because we have started design thinking in grade 7th. And right now you are talking about design thinking, the curriculum. So it's almost already answered. The question is already answered. But one more curious question. Like, we have started design thinking and we are going ahead with it, but I guess what I realized, there are certain structural changes also which are there in terms of timetable we have to make in terms of, and CBSE has, NCRT has already given the syllabus to be followed. So somewhere, don't you think when we are saying that, of course, 6th, 7th, 8th is different. 6th, 7th, 8th, when we are talking about is 18 hours, we can have it, and that is 12 and 6 hours. So is the, now CBSE has brought out the rationalized curriculum. Is that rationalized curriculum with an idea to make the school able to introduce such concepts? Just a curiosity, basically.
But one thing we need to understand here, that it is a module of 12 hours. It's to be done through hobby clubs. Plus, it is more about the way thinking takes place. It's not
Yes,
about
sir.
covering the content. It's about,
Yes, sir.
you can cover the same content, but how innovatively it can be done and how the thinking can be enhanced. So, in a way, it's an overarching thing which will help the understanding of all these subjects. Once you go through all the training program completely, all your queries will be answered. So, your point is well taken, but I would still request you to go through all the trainings, and then you will understand what we are trying to tell.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Alan,
Thank you, everyone.
I think this banner from the screen, it's obstructing the view of all the participants.
Yes.
Alan, I think your screen is shared, so please unshare your screen.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to invite Dr. Sahar, Director Skill Education, for his remarks on the program.
Alan,
No issue. Thank you, RP, Professor Pubia from IIT Bombay, and of course, all the innovations ambassador resource persons who are very much into this design thinking and innovations curriculum, again, design process, and also developed the content for the early years. And of course, good number of participants who have joined us directly through this platform, and also the peoples who are watching us through YouTube Live. I think the fabulous works done by the team to create this kind of curriculum from concept to reality. And India could be the first country who is the formally trying to put this activity in the structured way of curriculum transaction. So my request, I was listening some of the valid questions raised by some of the participants. Issue is, it is not that way. Rationalizations of curriculum is a pandemic issue. It is temporary measures. And moreover, the way new national curriculum framework 2022 is going to come, and that will actually lead the entire structure of our future school educations, also higher education. So we, at this point of time, we need not worry what would be the structures look like, but more or less the basic structures will remain same. With schools leaders autonomy, how you can utilize these as a tool for transformation, that depends on your hand. And moreover, as a teacher, as a school leader, and as a parent, how you can activate the thinking style of the children. And also this particular course, maybe sometimes it looks that it is meant for the student. I think it is meant for every citizens of the country at any point of time, whatever professions, whatever business you are handling. Design thinking and innovations, how it can rather energize your thinking process so that you can really upscale your journey altogether in a different manner. I think that is the requirement. Once again, thank you, and because we are supposed to start another interesting session, so within few minutes. So let me pause here, and once again, thanking all the team members, all the educators, all the principal and resource persons from IIT and Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, AICT, and other bodies. It is really going to And I will request all the resource persons that we need to train all the interested teachers in a physical form for at least for 2 to 3 days, so that the things becomes more clearer. And ultimately, all our innovation ambassador also, you have to work together so that these missions of design thinking and innovations we can really script in the Indian education ecosystem, especially in K-12 side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Biswajit sir, for sparing your time and guiding us in the complete process of implementation. Thank you, sir. Sir, RP sir, should we take any more question or should we close it formally, sir?
I think we can close for today. We can take the questions on email, and when in the next program, when we meet all the teachers who joined today in the physical program, we can address their queries there also. But in case they have a pertinent query, they can definitely send an email. You can put an email ID in the chat box, so they can send it there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
We have put that in the chat box. The SIC email ID is there. They can post their queries over there.
Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Pankaj and Ellen, for all the support. Back to you. Thank you so much.
So we formally will close. I request Mr. Pankaj Pandey to give a formal vote of thanks and close the session.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Innovation Cell of Ministry of Education, first of all, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the esteemed speakers, principals, HODs, and teachers for joining this orientation program. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Biswajit Saha, Director, CBSE, who could manage time for all of us on his busy schedule on the occasion of this Youth Skill Day and address us all. Thank you so much, sir. Your active guidance is instrumental in bringing us this DTI course to the schools. I thank Dr. Ravi Powai, sir, the chairman of DTI Course Curriculum Committee, and under whose active guidance the course curriculum is being developed and designed. Thanks for your insightful, in-depth, detailed overview of the design thinking course. I thank Dr. RP Saha, sir, for his welcome address and for providing the overview of TTI program. Your words on the importance of this course and the focus of CBSE will certainly help schools to bring this module to their students. I thank Harish Sanduja, sir, for introducing us to the assessment matrix for this course. I thank Rupa Madam for introducing us to the importance of design thinking and innovation course. I thank Ellen, sir, for campaigning this session. I also take this opportunity to extend my thanks in absentia to Dr. Abhay Jere, sir, who is Chief Innovation Officer of Ministry of Education. He is heading this innovation cell under whose guidance we are taking all these efforts and to streamline the innovation ecosystem in the schools. With this, I thank all the teachers, principals, HODs, participants who have joined us through the CBSE YouTube channel and through the MIC YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pankaj, for your formal vote of thanks. We look forward for all the teachers to join database of teachers who are registered for this program in the Google form. If someone of your colleagues have not joined for that or they are not able to register the Google form, please tell them to register in the Google form. Those who have been interested to be part of the program because we'll be sharing the details, the complete user manuals, presentations, whatever been made, it will be uploaded and the link will be shared to you where you can access to those content and make use of it. And we'll be sharing you once again detailed mail for you asking for the request to be a master trainer. Then we'll region wise conduct a physical program and we will be stay connected with you all still we complete the master training. And we will be stay connected with you all still we complete the master training program. Thank you once again. Thank everyone for being part of this program and for your sparing your quality time.
Thank you.
This program for past 2 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm ending this meeting now.